Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear students around the world. Welcome to your new English YouTube channel and classes. English course level 1 A1, lesson 85. In today's lesson, we are going to start a series of past simple form part 1 or lesson 1. Today, we are going to see just the verb form of the past simple. By the end of this mini lesson 85 part 1, you will have focused on know, learned and practiced the following objective. English verbs in the past simple form part 1 or lesson 1. There are two kinds of verbs in past simple. So we say two kinds, two sorts, two types of verbs in past simple. We have regular verbs which take ed at the end of the verb. For example, want, wanted. And irregular verbs which change the internal vowel. So the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. So for example, verb come. So the internal vowel, it's not E. It's final at the end. So we speak about O. So we are going to change the internal vowel. O to A. So the present is come, but the past is came. Now the problem the students face is how do they know if it is regular or irregular verb? There is no rule for this. You need to know every verb and to know its past tense. But I have an idea that will help you. You just take a paper and write regular verbs, and whenever you find a verb with ed, write it in that list and try to learn it. And if the verb doesn't take ed in the past, you need to write it in another paper and you write irregular verbs. Let's continue. So today we are going to focus only on the positive. We are not going to focus on the negative and the question. Some students will say, why? Why just positive? Why aren't we going to study negative and question? The answer is very simple. So verb want in the past is wanted. So we write wanted just in the positive form. So in the negative form, we don't have wanted with ed. And in the question, we don't have wanted with ed. So wanted with ed just in the positive form. In the negative form, we use didn't. I didn't want. If you write I didn't wanted, it's not correct. So today we are going to focus only on the positive because we have ed or the verb change the vowel. Because in the negative and in the question, the verb doesn't change. It remains in the infinitive. But these things, we are not going to study them today. Today we are going to see just the past of verbs before we can make these verbs in sentences and forms, negative and question. So what I want you to do is just to remember that want is a regular verb. It takes ed in the past. And the conjugation of verb want with all the subject pronouns I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they doesn't change. So I wanted, you wanted, he wanted, she wanted, it wanted, we wanted, you wanted, they wanted. Some students pronounce it want. It's not want, it's want. It's wo. I wanted. So this is the conjugation of verb want in the past simple and in the positive, because we need ed just in the positive. Okay, let's go to the next verb. Came. Came is not a regular verb because it doesn't take ed, but it's changed the vowel, the O-A. So here, I came. And we also use this came just in the positive form. So you cannot say I didn't came. It's not correct. You say I didn't come. And the question, did you come? If you say did you came, it's not correct. So came, we use it just in the positive form. You should remember these information that are very important in English. So came and wanted, so the past tense of the verb, just we use it in the positive. In the negative, we don't use it. In the question, we don't use it. We use just the infinitive. So let's conjugate with me verb come in the past simple. I came, you came, he came, she came, it came, we came, you came, they came. Let's go to the next verb. Listen. So listen, is it a regular or irregular verb? Let's see the answer. So it's regular verb. It takes ed. So we are going to conjugate it with all subject pronouns. I listened, you listened, he listened, she listened, it listened, we listened, you listened, they listened. Let's go to the next verb. Hear. So here it's like here and there, so the same pronunciation. Hear, I hear you. So look at the past. We are going to add just d at the end, but the students, they pronounce it heard because the present is here, so the past is heard. No, it's not heard, it's heard. Heard. I heard you. I heard. You heard. He heard. She heard. It heard. We heard. You heard. They heard. So try to practice it a lot. Let's go to the next verb. Speak. In the past, so change the vowel, the internal vowel, change ea to o and e at the end. Spoke. Many students pronounce this verb spoke. It's not spoke. It's spoke. I spoke. You spoke. He spoke. She spoke. It spoke. We spoke. You spoke. They spoke. Let's go to the next verb. Write. So W silent, E silent. And I is pronounced I. Write. But look at the past. What happens? So we change I to O. And students, they pronounce it rot now. So rot, if we say rot fruit, it means that we cannot eat rot fruit because it's not good, it's bad. So rot. But here it's the past of write, wrote. So remember, when we have O, you should pronounce it O. So all the time when we have O in the past, it should be pronounced O. Wrote. I wrote. You wrote. He wrote. She wrote. It wrote. We wrote. You wrote. They wrote. Let's go to the next verb. Read. Read. The present. Let's see the past. So the students, they pronounce read. The past and the present the same. No. So the past is like the color, red. So as if you say, you are red, you are a color. So you say, I read, you read, he read, she read, it read, we read, you read, they read. Let's go to the next verb. Be. So verb be in the present has 3 forms. Are, is. In the past has just 2 forms. And we are going to study 2 or 3 or more lessons just about verb to be in the past, was and were. So the conjugation of was we have it just with I and he, she, it. I was, he was, she was, it was. Student pronounce it was. It's or was. So it's not wa, it's wo. So if you write, you say it's weak wo or strong wo, it's the same. So you say was or was, was, but not was. So I was, he was, she was, it was. And where we have it with you, you were, we were, they were. So I'm going to repeat verb to be with all the subject pronouns. I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. The students pronounce it were. It's not where, it's were. were, you were, we were, you were, they were. Let's go to the next slide. Become. So O is pronounced A in the present, but in the past we change O to A and it is pronounced A. Became. Like come, came, become, became. I became, you became, he became, she became, it became, we became, you became, they became. Let's continue. Begin. So let's see what happens to begin. We change I to A. Began, began. I began, you began, he began, she began, it began, we began, you began, they began. Let's practice it more. Start. When we have T and ED, we pronounce it tid. Started. I started. You started. He started. She started. It started. We started. You started. They started. Let's go to the next verb. Finish. This is crazy. Why? Because finish, when it's a regular verb, we are going to add to it ED, but we are not going to pronounce it finished. It is pronounced finished. We are going to make a lesson on how to pronounce ED in the past simple, and you are going to learn a lot from it. So let's practice this. Finished. I finished. You finished. He finished. She finished. She finished. It finished. We finished. You finished. They finished. Let's continue. Break. It's like speak, spoke. Break, broke. So look at O. It's not broke, it's broke. I broke, you broke, he broke, she broke, it broke, we broke, you broke, they broke. Let's continue. Bring. This is crazy because we are going to change ing to something else. So we change ing to ought, but the pronunciation, it's not brought, it's brought. So many students, they say I brought. There is no I brought. So I brought. The past of bring, brought. So we write it like the up, the word up, brought, and we pronounce it like the word down. So brought. I brought, you brought, he brought, she brought, it brought, we brought, you brought, they brought. Let's continue. Build. We change D to T. Built. I built, you built, he built, she built, it built, we built, you built, they built. Let's continue. Buy. It's like bring. Look at what happened to buy. We are going to change uy to ought, but we don't pronounce it bout. We pronounce it bought. So I bought, you bought, he bought, she bought, it bought, we bought, you bought, they bought. Let's continue. Sell. We are going to change E to O and the L, final L to D. So the students, they pronounce it sold. Oh, no, it's O. Sold. I sold. You sold. He sold. She sold. It sold. We sold. You sold. They sold. So remember, O is pronounced O in the past. Yeah, go. Go is a crazy verb because we are going to change it to another verb. And this causes a problem for the students. So go, we don't have it in the positive form in the past simple. We have another verb. So remember, the verb go changes to went. So went is the past of go. If you say to me, I go to school every day, but if you say to me, yesterday I go to school, it's not correct. So yesterday I went to school. So the past of go is went. Try to remember this verb. So let's conjugate it with all the subject pronouns. I went, you went, he went, she went, it went, we went, you went, they went. Let's continue. Come, we saw it, came, and we conjugated it. Choose, we are going to drop one O, but we don't pronounce it choose, we pronounce it chose. Chose. I chose. You chose. He chose. She chose. It chose. We chose. You chose. They chose. Let's continue. Catch. So let's see what happened with TCH. So we change TCH to UGHT, but we don't pronounce it count, we pronounce it caught. I caught, you caught, he caught, she caught, it caught, we caught, they caught. Let's go to the next verb. So this is the last verb in today's lesson. Stop. Look at what happened to stop. So when we have a verb that ends with a consonant, final consonant, and before it we have one vowel, we double the last consonant. So stop, stopped. So we are going to study in the coming lessons when to pronounce ed, t. Stopped, I stopped, you stopped, he stopped, she stopped, it stopped, we stopped, you stopped, they stopped. That's the end of today's lesson 85. Until then, see you soon in lesson 86 on our two YouTube channels, House School Hassane and House College Hassane. Please support our channel because the support is very, very low and I don't know why. So I don't know. So please help us with your like, your comment, and share our video with your friends and family. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do subscribe to help us continue serving you in the future. Goodbye and good luck.